much for talking to me today. Obviously, it's been a different year for all of us across the world, but in particular, from the events perspective, it has been very different indeed. So I just wondered if you could sort of remind me, obviously introduce yourself and remind me of your role and what you do.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, Stephanie. So my name is Mercy Kaggwa. I'm a fundraiser at the NNN Hospitals Charity, which is the dedicated charity for the NNN, the Jenny Lind, and the Cromer and District Hospital in Cromer.
Oh, amazing. So obviously pre-COVID, could you just tell me a little bit about the sort of events that you would usually have put on?
Mm-hmm. So events were actually quite minimal, to be honest, prior to COVID. I actually started working here not long before the pandemic. So my role started in December 2019. So that's maybe barely 3 months into the role before, unfortunately, the world went into lockdown. I actually started at like the nicest time. The hospital hosted some Christmas events, Christmas stalls and concerts that were participated by lots of community groups within our Norfolk community, including Thursford Choir, which was the most incredible thing ever. And that was before their actual show time, which was really cool. Events, from what I understand, because like I say, I started in 2019, at the end of 2019, but events were pretty much of that kind of feel. So we have our AGM, which is always a given, the Christmas stalls and Christmas concerts. We used to have a summer fair. Again, all of these events were pretty much here at the hospital. There were sponsored walks and events for specific areas within the hospital, or for specific awareness months as well. There is like a baby loss awareness walk, which is really poignant. It's a really lovely event where people, parents, families within the community, and the midwifery teams, everyone in like the maternity type units, participate, and we all walk the circuit of the hospital, which is lovely. So we had lots of really nice type events like that brought people in, which was really cute.
It sounds lovely. It really sounds like you're sort of bringing the community together and supporting those that need it, really.
Definitely.
So I know you're one to come up with some great ideas for events. So what have you had to do to sort of diversify and sort of change how your events happen sort of throughout COVID and looking beyond, really, and what you'll sort of look to do in the future going forward?
Excellent question. So, and thank you for the compliment. So, it's actually been a really funny one, because we had started making so many plans. Our calendar for 2020 was actually packed, and it was looking fabulous with events. And then, like we all know, the pandemic hit, and we're like, oh no, cross everything out of the calendar. A lot of our events weren't necessarily, like during the last year, weren't necessarily actually our own. We were amazed by the amount of support that we received within the community, and were able to participate in other people's events, which was incredible. There were so many like virtual quizzes and DJ nights and the likes, like we all know, basically have all loved over the last year, which has been fantastic. And we've benefited so much from the incredible donations and events that people were able to host. What we have been able to do, we have launched a redevelopment of a recognition event that was something that was part of the AGM last year, but I revamped it and turned it into our charity champions. It's an event where we recognise all of the supporters that have supported us in any way. And I don't want to say donors as people that have given something, because some people have given time as well as financial donation or a physical, tangible item. And so that was really lovely, and that was specifically virtual, whereas obviously, as we know, the AGM and like recognition events prior were physical and during the AGM. So this was really nice because those people that wouldn't necessarily attend, so especially like our younger supporters who were recipients of an award, who were ranging from like the age of 7 to like 11 years old, they're not really going to attend a 3-hour AGM. And so it was really nice to be able to host a virtual event and be able to record it and make sure that they had their own copy, and everyone in the hospital and externally were able to see how amazing these people were and are and continue to be in support of us. One event that I brought during this year, which it's not a COVID specific event, but it was poignant that it was actually hosted during the last year, was our first annual In Memory and Never Forgotten Remembrance Service. Having worked in charities before, we know that these kind of events, especially for a hospital, are very relevant. People spend so much time, so much of their lives in and out of hospital because we're born here and we die here, and everything in between, basically. And to support those grieving families in their loss, for whatever reason, like I say, it wasn't a COVID specific event. We basically invite anyone within the East Anglia region that has, or further, if they have had a loved one who sadly died in our hospital at any time in the hospital's history, that they are able to attend the service. Last year it was virtual. We had basically invited families to provide us with a name and a short message that we would read out in memory. We would light a candle to illuminate their memory, as it were, and just say some nice words in the sense that our hospital will never forget them, and they are a legacy within our community, and that they are a part of the NNN family, like forevermore, basically. This event will continue as an annual event, hosted in September. This year, I believe it's going to be Friday, September the 10th. And we don't know whether it's going to be a physical event, but the likelihood is that it is going to be virtual. And again, it will be exactly the same premise. And if it is physical, it will be a very small event, so that we do respect social distancing for those that do want to attend. And we make sure that the recording of the service is available to everybody that participated, by providing a name at that time so that they can keep it as a keepsake. We do have lots of things that are happening, and things that we hope we can develop upon. For example, we have our NHS Big T, which is the actual NHS's birthday, which is July the 5th. That is an annual event. I believe the NHS is going to be 70, forgive me if I'm wrong, I want to say 73. I don't know why. And this year, just like every other year, NHS Charities Together has basically put a pack together where we ask our supporters to support us during this time. We are planning to have our so-called Big T, rather than it being on that day, we are taking it into the summer, basically. So what with the lockdown restrictions hopefully coming to an end by then, we are looking to basically encourage everyone who is going to be on school summer holidays and their families to participate during the summer holidays. So it doesn't have to just be like a one-day thing. It can be hopefully we can get our actual close-knit family together and enjoy the summer holidays a bit more. And maybe people can have more than one party if we are still practicing social distancing. You can have one with your family, one with your friends, that kind of thing. So we're really looking forward to that. We're organising a bike ride. It's our Chroma bike ride, and that's on the 3rd of October. that's going to be, I believe it's like 60, is it 60K? I don't know whether I'm constantly lying around Cromer. It's basically like 2-3 hours around Cromer, basically.
It sounds amazing, though.
Yeah, I think it's going to, and we're basically hoping that it's going to be a family event. Cromer is such a nice community.
Oh,
it's so close, family knit. And so we really want to like engage with the community, corporates, if people want to like create a team. And then, yeah, like we're trying to basically turn this into what could possibly be our annual bike ride. But this is our first one. So hopefully fun. We're quite lucky in the sense that all of our events can be dedicated to our hospital in general. And choose a specific area that they want to support, like the Jenny Lind, like the like stroke and dementia units, NICU. There are so many different departments that have affected people's lives that if people are hosting an event, that we can say that your event can benefit such and such ward and such unit. And it's fantastic, really.
So you mentioned the 250th birthday. Could you tell me a little bit more about what you're looking to do for that?
Yeah, sure. So we so it's the NNN Hospital's birthday. So this is excluding Cromer and the Jenny Lind. And there we've got hopefully a year of celebration. Everything is in like the pipeline. We're looking at a small public exhibition about the history of the hospital, which we're hoping is going to be, and I say everything is in like the planning, so I don't want to give too much away, but we're planning on like a public exhibition in town, hopefully, and at the same time, so as much as that's it's a learning, basically, we're going to go through like our archives, such a hard word to say, our archives, and basically have an exhibition, a really nice presentation of the hospital through the 250 years of its development, basically up until now, because the hospital has changed so much and has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, as we all know. And there is still so much happening on the hospital. Obviously, we have to talk about what's happened in the last year and how the hospital's developed since then. So that's a nice exhibition. We're planning on hopefully having engagement events with our supporters, prospective supporters, and this will be a nice summer. We're calling it our summer soiree. Sound a bit fancy, and that will be September-ish time. So hopefully we're looking into like an Indian summer. That's what we're hopefully being promised. Basically, a nice outdoor event. We're also looking into having our first, which was supposed to be last year, but it will be so much better when we get to do it next year, our first annual ball. The charity hasn't actually had a ball before. And we're looking to not only mark the anniversary as this amazing achievement, an amazing celebration for the hospital, but also a coming together of staff and all of our supporters as much as we possibly can, so that we can celebrate in the achievements of our charity as alongside our hospitals. So that's it's shaping into something really nice.
Sounds amazing. It really does. So you've spoken a little bit about the events, but could you just tell me a little bit about your the main audience that your events are for, and sort of how that might have changed over the last year or so, especially?
Sure. So I would say that personally, our audience prior to the last year, I would have said has been more external. It's been families that have been affected by the hospital. They've given a donation. Most people predominantly gave donations, whether financial or a tangible item. We have lots of community groups that are very engaged with us, but the audience was relatively small, which is quite difficult to fathom when we know that we have over 8,000 members of staff across the trust in the varying roles. And so they should have been our main audience, but they probably weren't necessarily, they probably didn't necessarily perceive themselves as an audience for the charity, mainly more recipients rather than a target audience. We have definitely made sure that over the last year that staff are aware that they are our main audience, and that their participation in raising awareness for their own wards, their own departments, their units, their area of work is what we are asking for support for, and what the community really want to get engaged with. Over the last year, people have not only, the community has not only engaged with us because of our emergency COVID appeal, but across the board. Because they want to learn more about what we want to do, and they want to learn more about what the clinicians, the admin staff, how their day is affected by the recent year, basically the recent events of the last year. And so a lot of our events have been carried out by staff, which has been incredible. We've had challenge events, such as there was a team that I think it was interventional radiology. They did an Everest challenge. They basically walked the height of Everest up and down the stairs in the stairwell in their department. There was, I believe there was 5 or 6 of them, and it took them a whole Saturday and a whole Sunday of completing it. And I thought it was a really mean challenge, because once you go up, if you're in the stairs, you have to come down, but going down doesn't count. And so they had to come, so their steps only counted by going up, because obviously that's the way you're going when you're climbing up Everest. So I thought that was an incredible challenge, and they did such an amazing job. We have people organizing events within their office, like British Bake Off type events, which is really nice, and they continue to do it. So we have lots of staff engagement type events. Lots of people have been doing poetry nights, quizzes, all virtual obviously, or like I say, in their offices, and putting a little kitty together, and then that's the donation to their department basically. And it's been great. There's been such great fun, but the audience, like I say, has become so much wider, and staff engagement and, more importantly, staff welfare has been very much a focus across the board in everything that we do. That we ensure that if we're hosting an activity, it needs to ensure that it benefits the welfare of all of our colleagues. And it could be anything from like in the summer we had like an ice cream day, and we had this amazing donations of ice cream and ice lollies, and it was like, well, who can we give these amazing treats to before they all melt, basically. And it's just really nice. It could be a really big thing, or it could be a really small thing, but everything we do is geared up for our main audience, which are our colleagues, and it's across all of the hospitals.
That's amazing. And, you know, even with workloads expanding, everything, it sounds absolutely incredible, the amount of engagement internally, and your colleagues that have been getting involved has really been great, especially over the last year or so, like you say. As a charity, how do you feel you benefit sort of the wider audience that you work towards?
Oh, so much. So we have to remember that we are the NHS, and I know that prior to Captain Tom, people, the community, and including staff, have found it really difficult to understand why they need to make a donation to the hospital. Not every hospital has a charity, which is a number one. Not a lot of people know that. However, you can leave a donation to any hospital. People do struggle with the fact that we do exist, because we all pay our taxes. We work full-time, part-time, whatever it is, and we pay our taxes. We've already done our bit. Unfortunately, that bit is for what we call the standard. NHS charities, we go above and beyond it's the nice things, it's the specialist things, it's the things that you don't necessarily need because of the word required, because if it's required, the government pays for it.
Yeah.
But if there is a specialist need, if we have a specialist technology or a piece of education learning, if there is someone who is so expert in their field that they can provide this incredible treatment that is going to save lives, that's above and beyond. And so we ensure that we communicate this to staff, to our supporter base and beyond, because literally every single donation, it's so important to us because it is our healthcare. And we know we're not private, we are NHS, and that's what makes it that much better. And the fact that we know that we're going to be able to support so many people who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford private healthcare, that our incredible NHS is here and looks after us so well, that we know that our audience understands this, and they are learning and they believe in it, and they really do get behind that message of above and beyond. Because literally without NHS charities, without NNN Hospitals charity being here for our hospitals, for our staff and all of the clinicians, all of the cleaners, everybody from across the board, a lot of the things that we do provide, whether it's staff welfare, whether it's patient welfare, we wouldn't be able to have it. And we would have the standard, which is fine, but it's not the best that we could possibly provide. And we want to provide the best, and we get to provide the best because we've got such amazing supporters and such amazing staff.
It's incredible. It really is incredible. All the work you do, it, you know, when you start to think about the bigger picture of the impact your sort of team and the work that you put on across the board is great. So
no, it makes the day go really quickly because it's very fast paced, and it's good fun though. It's good fun, and I get to pretend that I'm a clinician half the time because I get to learn terminology that I really don't need to know in everyday life because I'm not the doctor. But it's really good fun, and it's really interesting, and it's definitely worthwhile. It's definitely worthwhile. It's it's a great vibe to be able to think that we can work with so many amazing people and support so many amazing people in the variety of ways that we do. And we get to do it by hosting events, like, you know, and it's great fun. Yeah,
it really is. And I think when we are able to go back to having those live events, everyone's going to sort of
definitely
love it more than ever. And like we say, with that combined virtual and physical, it will, you know, everyone will be ready to go again, won't they?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a party, that's for sure.
Certainly. It sounds like you are doing some amazing things, and you have such a variety of different events that you're obviously putting on. And the fact that you have obviously adapted, and as you say, the sort of in remembrance event being virtual this year, that's obviously enabled you to reach so many people as well. And I think it's sort of made everyone within the events industry as a whole really think about sort of both aspects of the physical and virtual offering. And I think we're going to all take that on board.
Definitely.
And going forward, I don't know, I think everyone's going to really ensure that they have a sort of wider offering for everyone.
Definitely. There's no going back, is there?
No, definitely not. But lovely. That's so amazing. And thank you so much for giving your time today to have a bit of a chat with me. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much.